Welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, my next guest served as the White House press secretary for President Joe Biden. Her new book is called Independent. Please welcome back to The Late Show, Karine Jean-Pierre. Nice to see you again.
Good to see you.
This isn't the first time I've been able to interview, but the last time you were here, you were speaking on behalf of the president. Now you just speak for yourself.
Yes.
Is that an improvement? Do you enjoy the freedom? Do you enjoy the freedom of that?
I will say this: it was and will always be an honor and a privilege to have been White House press secretary. I was number 35. But it is also nice to step away and be a private citizen.
Sure.
And not having to be in the briefing room.
do you watch any of the briefings these days?
I don't.
Oh, you should check it out. I'll send you some
Your
clips.
band is amazing, by the way.
They are a wonderful band, aren't they? The new book is called Independent, and it's about your decision to leave the Democratic Party this past summer, right? June, or you told us in June or something?
No, yes, you're right. I forgot we're in the fall.
Thank you.
Yes, right.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
you're on top of things.
We read your book here. Exactly.
Yes, June of this year.
Do you recommend everyone leave the party? And if so, where do they go? Because organization is how you face tyranny. Freelancing isn't going to get anybody anything done.
So here's the thing. I'm not telling everybody to be an independent. I'm trying to start a conversation. I'm not saying that we need a third party. I am saying that right now, the two-party system is not working.
A lot of people are dissatisfied. A lot of Democrats or people who identify as Democrats are dissatisfied with the party right now. Where do you think the major failure is? What are they not doing?
Well, right now, in this moment, which is why I actually wrote the book, to give people a roadmap, I don't think there's any teeth. There's no fight. Where's the soul? And when I left the Democratic Party, when I left the administration this year on January 20th of this year, I was just minding my business, going to the supermarket, going to pick up my kid, going to the coffee shop, and people would come up to me in tears, most of them, and would say to me, what's happening? Why is the Democratic leadership not fighting? What's happening? We need more. How are we going to get out of this? And I talk about that in the book, and that's what created for me an opportunity as a private citizen now to say, okay, how do we focus on where we are today? How do we move forward? And what's a roadmap that people can follow to get engaged? I think it's really important to get involved and to get engaged, and that's what this book is about.
Well, let's talk about the Democrats who are getting people excited. Like Bernie Sanders gets people excited. He's a Democratic socialist.
Okay,
AOC.
He's an independent.
AOC, she's a Democratic socialist. Zoran Mamdani, Democratic socialist.
Yeah.
Doesn't that say that there are fundamental needs of the working class in America that are not being addressed by either party? And if they don't change their ways, they're going to cut themselves off at the knees by toadying to special interest in corporations.
I totally agree.
Okay, go ahead. You agree? I'm not going to keep talking.
You're speaking.
I accept your apology.
You're speaking my language. No. Here's the thing. The Democratic Party needs to be a big tent party, the big tent party that I loved and appreciated and felt seen in. And what's happening, you just mentioned three people who are, Democratic socialists, independents, who are very much exciting people. But what's happening with the leadership, more of the leadership Democratic Party side of things, they're actually throwing people under the bus who are vulnerable and need protection. As a Black woman who has walked through the walls of the White House and been part of this party for a very long time, I believe, and this is my personal opinion, that we get forgotten and that by large part the Democratic Party does not see us. And for me, especially in this past year, I needed to make a statement and to make a point. I'm trying to start a conversation. People are not going to agree with me. People are going to disagree. People are going to want, and I'm hoping that they're going to want to have a conversation with me about my decision because we are under attack. Our democracy is slipping through our fingers. And this is the time, I believe, that we need to have conversations like this because we have to do better. Millions of people who voted in 2020 for the Biden-Harris ticket did not come out in 2024. We have to figure out why. What happened there? They felt
there was a dramatic change in the middle of the summer as to who the candidate was going to be.
Yes.
It was not looking good. The polls were not looking good for Joe Biden, which you know, and Kamala Harris also lost, which we all know.
Right.
And I want to get to the point.
We're feeling that now. Yes.
You said one of the reasons you left the party was because they're not fighting enough today, but also you believe that the Democratic Party betrayed Joe Biden.
I do.
In what way?
The way in that 3 weeks where the debate happened and he decided to step down and pass the baton over to Vice President Kamala Harris, who I think did a phenomenal job running her campaign, and she should get credit for that. Now, you got to remember, this is very personal to me because I was at the podium almost every day talking about this. And I had never seen this visceral reaction and the attack on this man who, by objectively had a good 3 years when you think about the economy, right? When you think about how he responded to COVID, the student loan, I mean, you name it, expanding healthcare.
Well, just jump in here.
Yeah,
it was very personal to those of us who watched it too, because it was a shock to our system to see that. Because, I mean, you're talking to a guy who helped raise $25 million for Joe Biden in March of that same year, and 3 months later.
Thank you for that. Thank you for stepping in and doing that.
I saw a guy who I had not seen backstage at the benefit that I did. It seemed like a dramatically different person. And at 81 years old, that's not entirely unexpected. You can imagine why people got so worried.
So, a couple of things. I got to see Joe Biden almost every day. And this is a question that I take very seriously. No one has ever said he hasn't aged. No one ever said that. He would make jokes about it, he would acknowledge it, and he would say, yes, I know I don't speak this as well as I used to, I don't walk as well as I used to. No one is saying that he didn't age. I'm talking about, did he have the question that I was getting, the mental acuity? Was he able to govern? And the man that I saw nearly every day was someone who was engaging, understood policy, and was always putting the American people first. And it showed in what we were able to get done. I remember, I saw him nearly every day. I don't think anybody questioned
his heart or his policies, but it takes more than that to be the President of the United States. And in a moment of great pressure on stage, we saw someone shock us and worry us. And nothing could assuage that worry. So I don't think it was necessarily a betrayal of Joe Biden as other people saying, we don't think we were shown the Joe Biden that you saw.
I saw every day a really ugly assault on someone who had 50 plus years of experience and who, again, objectively had done a good job as President of the United States. And it was heartbreaking to see that type of behavior.
I think all of that, everything you're saying, I cannot fault the factual basis of what you're saying or your feelings about it. But what happened was the debate performance. Everything is downstream of that.
And no one is saying that the debate performance wasn't shocking, wasn't a disappointment. No one is saying that.
Disappointment is such a light term.
I use your words.
It was harrowing.
I use your words.
Okay, look, listen, we're never going to agree on this.
We're not.
Other than the fact that I'm glad that you came here tonight and
I
telling me to wrap over there. Would you like to say one more thing before we go?
But I do think that this is a moment, really, truly, what this book is about for me is the moment that we're in, and we have to continue to fight for our democracy, and we have to do that every day. One thing that the president used to say is we are a very, this is an experiment. Our democracy, this is an experiment that we're in. And if we do not fight for it every day, we will lose it. And that is my concern. That is my fear.
The book, Independent, is available tomorrow. Karine Jean-Pierre, everybody. We'll be right back.